Hey folks, Michael here with Conquest Overland, and today I want to showcase to you a product that I have stood behind for many years, and that is the ICECO fridge freezer line that they have. Now, if any of you guys have been following the channel for some time, you know that I've used ICECO fridges for a wide variety of needs across multiple different vehicles and in fridges of multiple sizes. And this one is going to be my fourth one from ICECO. And the reason why I've adapted and changed is because our setup has kind of evolved over the years. And as of now, we're currently using a little bit smaller fridge for all of our needs. This is the ICECO JP30 single zone fridge and freezer. Now this is just over a 31 quart size, and while it's a little bit smaller, it does the job for our needs, especially being in a vehicle that is a much smaller footprint all around. So in this video, I wanted to kind of just showcase some of the details, features, and how it's incorporated into our camping setup to suit our needs when we're doing a quick overnight or a multi-day extended trip. So for starters, we'll go over some of the basics. This particular fridge uses a CCOP compressor across all the same lines of fridges that I've used in the past, which has been perfect for our needs. It's very efficient, very quiet, and even when we leave the fridge inside the Jeep overnight, as we sleep inside as well, you can hardly hear it. The audible tone of it is almost non-existent, which is amazing. So the CCOP compressor has, handled extremely well over the years, from all the bumpy, rough, pothole-filled gravel roads to just getting moved around from in and out of the garage as we kind of come and go with our trips. So this thing has handled a lot of abuse, and it's shown that over the years across multiple models. Now, empty, the weight of this fridge is actually pretty light. It's only 36.6 pounds. So with the grab handles that are on both sides of the fridge, it makes it super easy to move it in and out of the vehicle and place it down where needed, especially if you have it external from camp or if you just need to shuffle it around inside the vehicle itself. Having a fridge this light is game changer. Not only is it resulting in less of a load that your vehicle has to tow around, but less of a load on you, especially when you need to move it around when it's full of drinks and food. So awesome with this platform. This is the lightest one that I've used, and I'm really liking the benefit of having that capability when we need to move it around. So as far as the dimensions on this guy, it's going to be 23 inches long, 13.8 inches across, and 15 inches tall. So it's a very compact little unit, and I love it for that reason. So again, when you need to fit it into small spaces inside your vehicle, it works really well. For me, I actually just put it on the top of the sleeping platform that we have inside the Jeep. We actually sleep inside the vehicle, so a lot of the extra contents that we take out during camp, we just put on top. So with that platform being itself 12 inches tall from the floor, having this fridge be another 15 inches, it still clears just fine as far as not hitting the headliner or the roof of the vehicle. So not going to scratch anything, not going to beat anything up, and it slides in and out super easy. So again, another plus for having a little bit more of a compact fridge. Now, as far as powering the fridge, you have two options, your AC at 120 and your DC as your 12 volt. And both of those plugs can be found right here on the back, and you get corresponding cables to accommodate your needs on how you're going to power the fridge. What I really love as far as having a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk model, there is a 12 volt right in the back where the hatch is. And what I found extremely helpful, especially when we're at camp or doing long trips or drives, is that 12 volt ties into the electric battery part of the fridge or of the vehicle itself. So as we're on long trips, or I need to keep the fridge plugged into that source for an extended period of time, it's actually not drawing from the starter battery, which is amazing. So the two are isolated from each other. So I've noticed that over a weekend use, the drain from that 12 volt connection there in the back hatch area is probably 5 to 10%. And of course, the vehicle can recharge as we drive with the regenerative braking, and that's just inside the vehicle itself. Now, when I need to pull it away, I use either ICECO's power bank that they sell separately, or with a portable power station to just be mobile, depending on your needs as far as that goes. So you have a lot of options on how you want to incorporate powering the fridge into your setup, but I've definitely found a lot of really nice complements as far as with my needs in the particular vehicle that I drive and how we use the fridge externally out of the vehicle as well. Now, like I mentioned, this size is a 31.7 quart. So that could be 44 cans of whatever beverage contents that you like, or 27 bottles of whatever contents you like. And for me, really, again, we kind of have to pack a more unique way when we store things inside the fridge. Because the space is a little bit less, you can't just put, you know, whatever meats or packaged items, you know, especially like deli meats, for example, because there's usually like a plastic container unless you buy them separately. You know, any food in a hard container that you buy at the store, you ultimately have to take it out and put it in a smaller, like a Ziploc or maybe a vacuum sealed container or something like that, or a bag, because then when you put it in the fridge, you're going to save a lot of space. And we've found that unlike before where we could just cram everything in and not worry about it, now you have to kind of dial things in. So especially when it comes to drinks, I'd love to just bring an entire container of juice or milk or coffee cream or whatever, but we found depending on how long, we'll have to actually dump some of that into a separate container that's a little bit smaller of what we'll actually use instead of having extra. And then that way we can pack and organize a little bit smarter with this fridge. And again, it's not a huge deal. You just have to kind of plan a couple steps accordingly on your trip to make sure that you can maximize the space and have everything you need versus a bulk of some things and not end up going through it all. As far as on the outside of the fridge here, you have two back sprung handles, one on each side, and that of course just makes things much easier when you need to move the fridge around, and they feel really good and firm in your hand. What is nice as far as that feature of it kind of retracting back, saves a little space as far as the overall length. How that's important, especially in my needs, is when we do get ready to sleep inside the Jeep, of course I have to move it off the sleeping platform, but I put it in the driver front seat, so essentially where we're not going to be for the evening, and it fits as far as lengthwise perfectly. So from the center console in the middle to where the door closes, it lays right in there, kind of parallel where the steering wheel is, and the door can close without any issues whatsoever. And best of all, when I'm in there or whatever, as far as watching a movie inside, say that it's nasty weather, being able to just kind of reach around the front headrest, maybe grab a snack or a drink out of the fridge, super convenient. You don't even have to get up to grab anything. So it's super awesome in that regard. But again, as far as the exterior goes, those are the two main things. And of course, on the back here, you have your ventilation for the compressor itself. And then here on the back, you have your main control pad. It's extremely user-friendly and very basic. Essentially, you have your on-off button, your max and eco mode. Essentially, that's just how fast the fridge will cool down and how hard the compressor is going to work. Just know that when you're in the max mode, it's going to draw more power from your power source, as opposed to the eco mode, which will cool the fridge down a little bit slower and conserve some of that power. And then a simple plus and minus button as far as setting the threshold for the temperature inside. And of course, you can set that on both Fahrenheit and Celsius. And of course, here's our sun. As far as continuing on the exterior of the fridge here, this fridge is super easy as far as the lid goes. You have a nice tight latching lid here, and this one opens up right at the front. So it's not a side opening, so you just get the one kind of standard just hinge right up. And for me, I honestly really like that, especially with this new setup of having a hatch on the back of the Jeep, because then that way I can just slide it forward, open it up directly in front of me, grab what I need. If it was side opening, I'd kind of have to awkwardly kind of move it towards me a little bit more, which would just create a couple extra steps. Not a big deal either way. But as far as this fridge with the JP30, it just latches right open, and you have a nice little ability to hold it in place right here. On the inside, again, you have your nice interior LED light, which is super handy at night, being able to see the contents that you need. ICECO incorporates that in all their fridge lineups. And then, as well as another feature across all of them, you have your removable basket, which also has a removable divider down the middle. So depending if you want to put food on one side, beverages on another, or a combination thereof, that's super handy. If I can get this basket to go back in place, there we go. But also, what is nice is being able to unload or load a lot of your contents all in one go. If you don't want to move the fridge, let's say on the inside of the house, and load everything from the fridge itself, you can actually just take this basket and move this around where you need it and load everything up. And then of course you can just drop it right in and you're off and running. So it's super handy in that regard. And of course, also at the bottom, you have your drain plug for any spillages or cleaning from that regard. Again, this fridge is extremely easy to use, very convenient, and the small space, but how everything is laid out is really nice. Having the two dividers and then even a little shelf unit here where the LED light sits is very handy as well too. You can put a lot of sensitive contents there like eggs or fruit or maybe even just condiments or like butter or anything that's smaller in size that you might need across multiple meals. I find that shelf helpful for that. But again, overall, the JP30 is just kind of one of those fridges that just work. There's really not too much fuss with it, and it's really a plug and play, literally. So again, as we get ready for our trips, it's easy to transport around. It's small enough to put on top of our sleeping system inside the Jeep and light enough to move about as far as when we get ready to sleep, putting it in the driver front seat, or when we're getting ready to cook and I just want the fridge close by, I can set it on our camp table and it's gonna have everything that I need right there. But otherwise, again, being my fourth fridge from ICECO, I'm really loving all their products. I only change because our needs constantly seem to be changing, as well as vehicles and sleeping setups and whatnot. But what highlights from that is ICECO's ability to have an option for all those different variables, whether you're in a full-size rig, whether you're in a small compact SUV, there's something for you across all the product lines, which I find extremely helpful. And again, over all the years of our use, it's never had a single issue. So I invite you to check them out. If you are interested or looking to learn more about ICECO and their fridges, I'll have a link below. And if you're wanting to maybe get one ahead of our busy summer season and all the travels that are ready to come, I do have a discount code for you that you can use to help save a few dollars, and in return that helps me to continue doing this channel and creating videos such as this, as well as a lot of our travel episodes that you guys see on a more constant basis. So with that, you guys, I sincerely appreciate you watching. Hope that you found this helpful and useful in some aspect. Though if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'll be happy to help. And as always, until next time, safe travels.